Hi, I'm Olga. Now I'm on the amazing trip to Antarctica. Hi, I'm in Ushuaia, where I started my trip to Antarctica. Ushuaia is located far to the south in Argentina. This is the southernmost located city in the world. Ushuaia is surrounded by snow-capped mountains, and the climate here is rough. Now it is the middle of summer here, January, and the temperature is about plus 5 degrees Celsius. Actually, Argentina and Ushuaia is one of the two places in the world from where you can start to travel to Antarctica. Another place is Australia. Here we are boarding our ship Plansus and go to Antarctica. In 5 minutes or so we will leave Ushuaia port and heading toward the Falkland Islands, then South Georgia, and after all Antarctica. This is a trip for 3 weeks. We will not have any connection with outer world, only just through the satellite internet that is quite expensive, so no connection. Hopefully the weather will be good. We will see a lot of animals, birds, and we'll show you. Actually, changes began just after the starting moment. There is a windstorm in Falkland Islands. Even it's sunny, it's a huge winds. So our captain and expedition guide, they decided to change totally our direction of the trip. So we started from Antarctic Peninsula, after that we go to South Georgia and then Falklands. Now we are going through Drake Passage. It's one of the most dangerous passages in the world. Usually it's a storm, strong wind, etc. It's even words like Drake Lake or Drake Shake among the cruisers that go there. So we don't have even Drake Lake, even Drake Shake. We just have a little bit of shaking in the beginning, so some of the people can recognize what is a sea sickness, use some pills, patches, etc. But overall we have a good weather, a little bit cloudy, a little bit breezy, but overall it was good.
We are about 70 nautical miles southwest of Cape Horn, sailing with a speed of 11 knots. The water temperature outside is 8 degrees Celsius, or 46 degrees Fahrenheit.
Crossing of the Drake Passage in a big ship like ours, it's for 110 passengers plus crew, around 50 persons. It takes around 2 days, either no strong wind, but sometimes it takes even more than 3 days. For the small yachts, for sure, it takes longer. So in 2 days we saw the peaks of South Shetland Islands, where we stay for a night and make some visits on zodiacs to see our very first penguins in this trip.
Hast du keine Handschuhe? Doch. Hast du? War noch keine.
If there's anything happening and I should happen to fall overboard, which hasn't happened so far in my career, but you never know, you need to recover me.
Usually on such trip you have two types of adventures, or it's zodiac cruising or it's landing. Some of the companies, they propose kayaking, hiking, mountaineering or even camping, but usually it's for the trip to Antarctic Peninsula. The trip to South Georgia and Falklands and Antarctic Peninsula doesn't have such activities, all because of just tight time frames, so you should be on time and it takes really a lot of time to cross all these huge distances in the sea. So, zodiac cruises. Usually you take a waterproof pants and jacket and go to Zodiac with all your camera stuff, etc. It will be good if it will be packed in dry bag, but actually if it's Zodiac cruising you need your camera up. So maybe it will be splashing a little bit, depends on the weather and the waves. In some of the places you can do landing, but just Zodiac cruising. It's not because of the team, expedition team. It's more about weather conditions and the place where you can go out from Zodiac without getting wet or even fall down into the water. So it all depends on the expedition leader and captain and actually weather. Weather, it's a big issue. Sometimes you have sunny, really beautiful day, but wind is so huge that you can't land. You even can go to Zodiac cruising. Usually it's the weather that you can do a Zodiac cruising. It's less than 20 knots of the wind, so less than 40 kilometers per hour of the wind. If it's higher, then it will be quite tricky to board and unboard Zodiacs, and even just waves will be quite huge. It's not a big ship. Rubber boats for 10 persons, so it really sometimes it's shaky. First landing on the Antarctic continent, South Shetland Islands. The South Shetland is a group of 11 major islands and several minor ones. Between 80% and 90% of the land area is permanently covered with ice. They lie about 120 kilometers north of the Antarctic Peninsula. The South Shetland Islands are not Shetland Islands in Scotland, but situated close to Antarctica. They are attached to the British Antarctic territories, but are also claimed by Chile and Argentina. The islands are the same distance from the equator as the Faroe Islands in the North Atlantic, but their proximity to Antarctica means that they have a much colder climate. The sea around the islands is closed by ice from early April to early December, and the monthly average temperature is below 0 Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. for 8 years. Here we can see a huge colony of chinstrap penguins. Today we come closer to Antarctic Peninsula, and we had a snow in the evening or at night.
Recording evidence.
Icebergs in the water. So first of all, here on the left side we're looking at a glacier, at an iceberg that is very rounded. So the one on the left over there's lots of snow laying on top. This one has nothing at all. So this one has been rolling a lot around, and it's been rounded out while it's been underneath the water. So the water eats away much faster from the ice than above the water. This means that it will eat away any kind of short or like very cornerish area. So tabular icebergs are only tabular because they've never been rolled before. So when they roll, they will come rounded.
In all these barrels and bags we have survival kit, with some fresh water, food, emergency tent and space blankets. Each crew must have its just in case when weather is rapidly changed and it is not possible to return to the ship. After each landing, we have to wash our boots to prevent spreading of diseases and microorganisms between islands. After South Shetland Islands, for sure, we go to Antarctic Peninsula, where we wanna put our step on the Antarctica continent. And what do you think? We came to the beautiful place with a lot of penguins, with interesting stone formations, and the wind is blowing like 60, 70, 80 kilometers per hour, so it's too huge to onboard and go to the land. So our expedition team decided to go a little bit to the Weddell Sea. Maybe the weather will be a little bit better.
Here.
And we were lucky enough to put our foot on the Antarctic continent. Yes, it was quite short, but still, it's a big trip and we don't have a lot of time here. sometimes you can be quite unlucky and get into bad weather all over the trip or partially in the trip and can't go to zodiac cruising or landing in many of the places. So it's all about weather and you can't predict it. So be patient and wait for the good weather. Good weather, it's not only sunny and blue sky, it's no wind. Even if it's snowy, but it's no wind, it's already great. As I already mentioned, the weather on the day we were supposed to land in Antarctica. It was very windy and the wind became stronger and stronger. So we had a very short time on the Antarctic continent, just to check in. Now you can see on the horizon the big flat iceberg. It's 823. That is the biggest iceberg that now actually in the sea. It's something like 40 on 70 kilometers. So it's more than London. And you can see it's the whole horizon is covered by this ice. Now we are going to South Georgia Islands. It's very remote islands. From Antarctic Peninsula, it's more than 1,500 kilometers. So it's around 3 days at the open sea, almost at the open. In one day, we will see South Orkney Islands. In our trip, we think that we will have possibility even to land on them. But unfortunately, we reach them around 8-9 p.m. It's already getting dark. And the conditions of the weather and wind wasn't so good, so we just take a look at South Orkneys and go further. During your days in the sea, you don't have a lot to do. Just stay on a bridge or somewhere on the outer decks and observe the sea and marine life. Maybe you will be lucky to see whales, even breaching whales, or some orcas, or dolphins, or just seabirds. in our expedition, during our sea time, we also have a lot of presentation on different topics, including historical one on Shackletons and other expeditions, and also some of them about flora and fauna of the Antarctica and subantarctica. On the ships like Falklands, there are different types of cabins, starting from cabins for 4 people, then some for 3, and most of them are for 2 people. But even cabins for 2 can be different, from basic where I am to more luxury one on the highest decks with windows, and for some luxury ships even with balconies. In the basic cabin for 2 with sports hall, there are 2 beds, wardrobe, table and bathroom with shower. There is not too much space, but it's enough if you spend most of the time on outer decks or in the lounge area. South Georgia Island. It's beautiful, it's pristine, and it's a must-go if you like nature. Unfortunately, now it's influenced by avian influenza, so a lot of places to for landing is closed now. So you can go there, you can just do some zodiac cruising, but without landing.
Now over here is unique. No, it's not unique. It's just not just unique, but it's a place where you almost never get it. So enjoy it, take it all in, and yeah, we're gonna make the most out of this next hour and a half.
So for now, South Georgia is just zodiac cruising in different places where weather let us go. Our first stop in the South Georgia is breathtaking Drigadsky Fjord. It is late in the evening, so sunset colors are just amazing. During this short zodiac cruise, we saw fur seals, some sea elephants, cormorants, and even small group of molten king penguins. Fast breakfast and we are going on our next zodiac cruise, this time to Gold Harbor, and after lunch to St. Andrews Bay. This pristine wilderness area are home to some of the largest colonies of pink penguins in the world. The sight of thousands of penguins wading along the shorelines was a sight I'll never forget. It was a humbling experience to observe these magnificent creatures in their natural habitat. King penguin colony in St. Andrews Bay has size around 500,000 couples of penguins. Just imagine this!
We're molting right now, and most of these are chicks that were born last year in December. They've survived the whole winter, which not all of them do, sadly.
Actually, king penguin is the second largest penguin in the world, after emperor penguin. But you can only find emperor penguins deep on the south in Antarctica. Also, we do a lot of different zodiac cruising. We visited some colonies of gentoo, macaroni, king penguins, a lot of fur seals and sea elephants, cormorants and albatrosses on our way. During the night, we covered distance to Ocean Harbor, and just after breakfast, we head into Zodiac Cruise. In Ocean Harbor, we saw old things from when people hunted whales. It reminds us of what happened here before, but now it's a wildlife sanctuary.
Breeding and bringing up these due to calendar, or is it happening all over the year when they grow up?
And how can we forget about Great Weekend? Great Weekend is the administrative center of South Georgia. Two young women from the local museum gave us a short introduction to the South Georgia in general and Great Weekend in particular. Before the boat drivers dropped us on land, we took a short detour past Shackleton's grave, which was unfortunately not currently open to visitors. Bird flu has also found its victims in this bay, and restrictions for visitors should minimize the further spread. In Great Weekend, we have a couple of hours to observe full seals, king penguins, and visit museum, church, and for sure post office to send some postcards. Actually, in Great Weekend, you can see the barrels for the oil of whales, like fat. You can imagine the amount, how many whales were killed for their fat. Today's dinner is something special. We have grill outside on one of decks in the ice-filled Cumberland East Bay. At the end of the bay is the edge of the island's largest glacier, the Nordenskjöld Glacier.
Hello. Hi to the team. Wow.
Today, our last day in the waters of South Georgia, and we go to Hercules Bay. Here we can find huge colony of macaroni penguins, as they like to nest on rocky shores. It's even better to observe them through zodiac. As other crested penguins, they have yellow feathers on their head that makes them look very special. Do you remember that I've said that you need around 3 days of sailing to go from the Antarctic Peninsula to South Georgia? Yes, and now you need to have another 3 days in the sea to reach from South Georgia to Falkland Islands. It's one more time 1,500 kilometers to reach Falkland Islands. Falkland Islands. Finally, we can do landing. We can hike a little bit and we can see penguins just near us. Actually, on the Falkland Islands, you can go closer than 6 meters to the wildlife. But still, 6 meters, it's quite a lot. And sometimes this distance even shorter because wildlife approaches you and you don't have place where to go from it. So you're just staying and waiting when this penguin will cross the road. Falkland Islands, it's not only about penguins, it's also the big place where albatrosses is nesting. So, it's also about albatrosses, these huge birds. Stanley, the capital of Falklands. Here we can go ashore and have some hours to finally walk, not by ship, but by land. In some hours I saw local cemetery, museum, some souvenir shops, post office, even distillery, and for sure observed local life. After some civilization in Stanley, we are heading to new wildlife places. This time Carcass Island. Here we can observe quite a big colony of Magellanic penguins that nested in burrows. That is very special for penguins. For sure, some skuas are not far from them and growing their chicks also. Near Magellanic penguins there are a small group of gentoo penguins who is also raising their chicks. After we moved to other part of the bay to try smoko, that is traditional coffee and biscuit break on Falklands. Here we have plenty of homemade cakes and tea, coffee from local family. After lunch we are going to land the Saunders Island. It is quite hard as here huge winds are often, but we are lucky enough to land. Saunders Islands are colony for Magellanic penguins, and if we go further, then mixed colony of black-browed albatross and rockhopper penguins. Grey fluffy chicks of albatross is quite big, so adult rockhoppers looks almost the same size. Rockhopper penguin is also crested penguin, so they have some yellow feathers on their head, but they look totally different from macaroni that we saw on South Georgia. Saunders Island landscapes are just amazing. It's hard to believe that these turquoise waters and white sand beaches are on sub-Antarctic island. We are heading back to the ship and hurry up, wind is getting stronger. So getting into Zodiac is hard as it jumps on the waves. So wait when it's going down and jump into. That is quite hard. Way to the ship is wavy and going out of Zodiacs is not so easy as gangway jumping meter up, meter down and you are not on the stable surface. Finally, everybody can get in.
Yes.
You are. Yeah.
Wind doesn't allow us to do second landing, so we are going to Ushuaia. Actually, we try to avoid storm. Maybe we will be lucky enough to reach Ushuaia and say that we didn't experience huge wind and shaking in the open ocean. From Falkland Islands there is around 1 day, 1.5 days to Ushuaia. So it's a time to say goodbye to Antarctica and some Antarctica islands. I'm pretty sure I will return to this area. As you can imagine, polar regions, it's something unforgettable. Our trip comes to an end. Ushuaia meets us with sunny weather and open mountain peaks. Now, most of the people heading back home, but I'm going to Argentina and Patagonia for some trekking. So, new adventures, and you don't want to miss it. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and see you!
Retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution!